are looking at lesson 2-5. Our essential question for today is how can you find the distance between 2 points on a coordinate plane? So here we're looking at how we are going to find vertical distance. So that word vertical is we are comparing something on the y-axis. So let's read our problem here. It says Tammy drew a map of her neighborhood. How far is it from Lee's house to school? So here's Tammy's house here at the origin, Lee's house, and then school. So the first thing we need to do is find the ordered pairs for those places. So let's start off with school. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. So -4, 1, 2, +2. So school is -4, 2. Now Lee's house, 1, 2, 3, 4, is also -4. But let's look at our y. So we're at 4, 1, 2, 3, down 3, which is -3. What I instantly notice here is that my x's are the same. And that's good because I can see here that they're on the same distance from Tammy's house, right? What we're looking at is how far they are from each other vertically right here. So we're going to be using the y value here and the y value here to figure out how far they are. Now on a nice picture like this, we can see, wow, I can just count these squares because each square makes a mile. It's not always that beautiful when we have these problems, so I'm going to show you how to do it using absolute value. So I can see here the playground's distance from Tammy's house, or 0, would be the absolute value of 2, plus the distance of Lee's house to 0, which is the absolute value of -3, right? Because that's our y value. So let's see. The absolute value of 2 is 2, plus the absolute value of -3 is 3. So we would end up with 5 miles. And we can see that here because this is 3 and this is 2. If I put those together, I get 5. So typically when we're looking for vertical distance, we are going to be using the absolute value of our y coordinates. Okay? If we are traveling over from the positive to the negative side, we're going to add. If we're staying within one side, we usually are going to be subtracting. Okay? Let's look at another problem. Here's example 2 where we are finding horizontal distance. So right here we're going to be using the x-axis. So on this one, just like before, if we're finding horizontal distance, we're going to be using the absolute value of some x coordinates. So let's read the problem and see what we're trying to figure out. Okay, so we have the Coulter family starts at their home and stops at a rest stop to eat lunch. How much farther do they need to drive to get to the water park? So we're trying to find the difference between these two. Use coordinates to find the distance. So we can see here already that they have the same y, and that's okay because that's how far they are apart from Coulter's home. We're trying to find the distance between x, right? So we are going to use the absolute values of the water park from the rest stop. So we'll have -85.5 minus the absolute value of the rest stop, which is 25.75. Okay, so that absolute value is 85.5 minus 25.75. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and do some math here real quick. 85.5 minus 27.7, not 27.5, writing the problem down here, 0.75. I notice I have a blank spot, so I'll put a 0 there, and we'll just go ahead and do some subtraction. This becomes 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 4 minus 7 we can't do, so we're going to borrow from here. 14 minus 7 becomes 7. 4 can't subtract 5, so we'll borrow here. 14 minus 5 is 9, and 7 minus 2 is 5. So it tells me that it is 59 and 75 hundredths miles away. So you can see here, we're going to use the x values difference. We're subtracting because it's within the same uh, quadrant here. So we're subtracting. If it were the difference between here, we could add, right? All right, let's look at another one. My iPad's dying, so we got to be quick. Okay, we are going to find the distance here. I am just going to briefly show you number 4. I can see it's -5 and 2. So there's our first one. We'll call that the red dot. Okay, and then our next one over here is -5, 6. So you can see here, they're within the same quadrant, so we are going to be subtracting. Okay, so I'm going to use the absolute value of the ones in my y place here. So absolute value of 2 minus, we'll go this way, sorry, it's 6, because we're going to go from our larger value up here and subtract it here. So we'll go absolute value 6 minus absolute value of 2. So 6 minus 2 is 4. And we know that's true because my distance here and my distance here, these kind of cancel out, right? So what's left? 1, 2, 3, 4, which makes 4. All right, quickly before my iPad dies, let's do number 5. Okay, I can see that these guys are the same here on my x value, so I'm going to be using my y value to find the absolute value. So we'll use these guys for absolute value. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and plot these real quick. So we have 4.5 and -3.3. I'm just going to put that one there. We'll call him the blue guy. Okay, and then the red guy is 4.5. Oh, I'm trying to be so quick. And 5.5 is about here. Okay, so you can see that we're going to be adding. My battery is so low. We're going to be adding because we're going across an axis here, right? So we'll be going whatever this is plus whatever this is to find our value. So let's do the absolute value of 3.3 plus the absolute value of 5.5. When we get those, we will have 8.8 because this is 5.5 plus 3.3. Woo! I want you guys to try to do 6 and 7 on your own.